If you look at restorative justice and criminal justice, in some respects the word justice is in both of those terms, and yet they sometimes seem so far apart. So for example, in the criminal justice world, we're focused a lot on certainly accountability, consequence, and punishment. That seems to be the focus, at least in my experience, it's always been the focus. Whereas restorative justice is really rebuilding. You're still wanting to hold people accountable for the decisions that they made, but it's instead of focusing on punishment, you're focusing in on restoring. Well, victim-offender mediation in its simplest form is essentially putting a victim and their offender with a trained mediator and really getting an opportunity to discuss the impact that the particular crime had on them.
It could apply at any point in the criminal justice process, and that would include before the trial, following the trial, during incarceration, during probation, and it's also driven by the desire of the victim. And of course, not everybody's ready for that, but I think that when people are ready, there ought to at least be an opportunity for it.
So the criminal justice system will often talk about making a victim whole. I think it is the closest we can get to accomplishing that.
First and foremost, you see victims having those questions answered. Those burning questions that I think all victims of crime ask themselves right away. Why did this happen to me? And what we're hoping for, obviously, is a very sincere, open and honest and frank dialogue.
So in turn, we have the victim who can be as close as they can be to made whole. We have the offender contributing, and then we also have society made whole again because the person is there making a positive impact.
I guess if we view criminal acts as a rip in the fabric of society, what we're trying to do is fix that rip as best we can. There is an opportunity to dig deeper into the process and change things for the better.
If we all agree that we're going to serve victims, and victims are important in what we do on a day-to-day basis, then we have to take that time. We have to listen to them when they, in fact, decide that they're going to go through the process, and then listen to them after that process. Let's recognize the power of what restorative justice can bring.
So before prison, it was pretty challenging. It was quite common in our culture for older gentlemen that would be drug dealers or hustlers. They would take the younger guys who were most influenced and get those guys and mold them. Yet it was a trap. And I was destroying my community. I ended up taking a young man's life, a young man that I once considered as a friend. I received a natural life sentence. Yet I remember being in a courtroom and his mother saying to me, "I forgive you because God told me I must forgive you."
I knew that healing had to begin in my community somewhere. And so being a Christian, I just didn't want to be the one carrying hate, sowing discord. So in the courtroom, I had to tell this young man that I forgave him. I just didn't want him to feel like he didn't matter anymore.
I didn't understand that at all. In fact, it made me angry. I said, how can she say that to me when I haven't even admitted or confessed that I did this? She never gave up on me though. She kept reaching out, man, and God began to do a thing in my heart.
In February, about 5 or 6 years ago, he called me, and I knew it was from the prison. I knew it was Val Marcus, and he said, "Mother Geraldine, I want to ask you to forgive me."
It took almost 15 years for me to actually call Mother Geraldine and simply say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for taking Jeffrey's life. And it's something that I could never, I can't bring him back. But I became determined to make things right. We begin to trust one another. Walls begin to drop.
And so now I consider him my son.
I lost my mom inside of prison. She's actually become that to me. We talk about everything like it's mind-blowing. Restorative justice is a way for us to make things right.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Put yourself in the place of that prisoner. Put yourself in the place of his mom, his sisters, his brothers, his community. Let's make these young men important to us. They are human beings and they deserve another chance. Simply because of that.